Crow is one of the most hated characters in NIKKE. And I get it. I do. We've put her under a microscope and judged her actions and words. But what if I told you, Crow's done nothing wrong? Imagine your world is pitch black. There is no light. You live in some shoddy shack. And when you and your people finally start to become somewhat self-sufficient, you look outwards to try and get some help. But the Ark doesn't care. They won't give you the time of day because you're not a citizen. They don't even think you're a human. Of course, somebody was eventually gonna pull through and push back. And that someone was Crow. Crow is a freedom fighter. She knows she has to get her hands a little bit dirty to get the ball rolling. And a strong leader has to be willing to make the hard decisions, to get the people to rally and unite. Sure, Crow's not perfect. She's unstable, a little bit crazy, even sociopathic. Her own words. But can you really blame her? She grew up in a world with nothing. No support, no healthcare. Help wasn't coming. She was on her own. She didn't create those tendencies, but she had to find a healthy outlet. And in her eyes, that outlet was the source of all her problems. The Ark. Then we get to her time as a NIKKE. When she met us, her ideology isn't subtle. It spills out of her intensely. She finds it hypocritical of the people of the Ark to be living such ignorant and peaceful lives, while the Ark churns out NIKKEs, forcing women into combat roles, all while the people treat them as disposable, lesser beings. And then there's us, so idealistic and kind, genuine in our desire to help. It's something she can't have. She can't even comprehend someone like that existing. Especially since you're trying to find Vapas, something that will give NIKKEs agency, make them able to disobey. This was too much for her traumatized brain, and she was already at the point of no return, culminating with her betrayal and the attempt on our life. And I know what you're thinking. This is the point where it seems like it's impossible to keep defending her. She's too far gone. But what if I told you that's not all there is to it? It's not over. It's just the beginning. Crow is finally starting to make sense. Then we have the Rapture invasion of the Ark. As always, all roads lead back to Crow. She was the mastermind behind the attack, framing and using EH, manipulating Uni, savoring the chaos she had caused. As the people of the Ark had their homes invaded, all the countless NIKKEs that were fighting to the bitter end. Which makes you think, didn't her ideology revolve around how she cared about the agency these NIKKEs had? And now she's taking it away, having them fight a battle they didn't choose. Well, yeah, to her, those NIKKEs were still not in control. They weren't free. They were still subservient to the Ark. And I know how that makes her look. But it's still consistent with her own beliefs. Freedom. The choice to do what she wants. Something she's been deprived of since she was born. And that is the freedom she's willing to die for. For all NIKKEs. Then you have her obsession with us. Her need to break us. To prove us wrong. It's because we're everything she's not. The perfect antithesis. Compassionate. Empathetic. Willing to stand up for what's right. And spark change from the inside. Rather than tearing everything down. If we succeed and uphold our ideals with our methods, it would mean her whole life was wrong. Every action she has taken and will ever take will be null and void. So to prove that her existence mattered and had meaning, she had to get rid of us. We were an existential threat, and her ego would collapse if she didn't win. So pretty much, it's like self-defense. Hold up. Big AC, aren't you forgetting something? What about the framing of Mattis? How they almost lost it all because of her stirring up the allegations and ruining public perception. Well, she wasn't wrong. They had faced corruption. Laplace's ego was in shambles, and her will to fight was all but gone. If anything, she saved them by having them face these trials. So when you think about it, were her actions really that bad? Besides, Mattis has Drake, the greatest and most heinous villain of them all. Once again, Crow has done nothing wrong. Now I know what you're thinking. We have to address the elephant in the room. What about the train attack by Heavenly Ascension, orchestrated by Crow and her followers? How she even found pleasure in these attacks on passenger trains. To that I say, there was no train attack in the Ark. Okay, I can't do it anymore. I can't, I'm done. I'm sorry, Diesel, I didn't mean it. This video was an April Fool's joke, I swear. But you know what? I still don't think she's evil. Because how can you be evil when you look that hot? Checkmate, liberals. Thanks for watching, team. Until next time, peace out, squad.